Welcome to episode 9 of the What Are We Thinking podcast.
What are we thinking, family? Man, I just want to let you guys know, first off, what an encouragement it is hearing from you. For the last couple of weeks now, I've heard from different people multiple times, friends, peers, people that I didn't even know were watching our podcast, that have reached out to us or reached out to Josh or just myself and just said that they were. And honestly, it never gets old hearing that.
Oh, no, not at all. It's cool.
Every now and then I just kind of assume that we're doing this, and I don't know, no one's hearing it, and we're just doing it for our own fun. But then people say, dude, that part in the podcast or that thing you guys talked about or whatever, and they just mention how much they enjoy it, and I'm like, man, this is so cool. So thank you so much for those of you, and be sure, if you do enjoy this, subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment, leave a review, share it on Facebook, all that different kind of stuff so that other people can watch too. And if nothing else, just to kind of help our algorithm, help us get out there so other people can discover it. And if you don't like us or you hate us or you want us to fail at what we do, then don't do any of that. But no pressure. It's just our livelihoods are up to you. Good. So thank you in advance.
So, and speaking of that, someone actually, a friend of mine, actually a friend of our guest this morning, Tandy Darby, I was at one of his events he had, and this gentleman came up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I'm loving the podcast." And I was like, "You're loving what?" He's like, "The podcast." And I was like, "You listen to our podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Look at this. My wife is calling me.
That's so
She's going to be on the podcast. Hold on. Hey, Sam, you're on the What Are We Thinking podcast right now. I just went ahead and answered because you called. So you're on speaker.
Good husband.
Tell everyone, hey.
Hey.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, I was just letting my husband know that he forgot to take Margot to get a pill this morning.
I did forget that. Do you want to do that for me? Or
I'm actually already on my way to work, but I didn't know if you could do it afterwards. But you can just call me back later.
Okay. Hey, I love you.
Love you, Sam.
Love you, Josh.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. That was classic. That was
good.
That was well worth it.
I was trying to help. I was trying to be very caring and help you out.
Absolutely. Sam, sometimes she won't say this out loud. Sometimes she gets intimidated by Josh, and it's not because Josh isn't awesome. She loves Josh and Alicia. But on the surface, Josh is when I first met Josh, I was intimidated too. I'm not even gonna lie. So.
That's so funny.
So yeah, but we're hanging out with you guys this weekend,
and we're excited.
We're pumped about that.
Yeah, we're excited
she's
too.
Pumped about that. But keep going. Sorry.
So anyway, yeah, that was a really weird thing for someone to come up to me that I didn't know, especially in an event like that where I feel like I'm a little bit of an outsider.
Sure.
And then,
little did you know, you're actually a community, famous guy.
That was
that
really
everyone's
funny.
listening to.
That was really funny.
And it was a guy of kind of high report.
Yeah. He was a county mayor.
Woo.
And he was like, "Hey man, listen to your podcast." Like, whoa, wow, that's so cool.
We have all the county mayors liking our stuff.
We have Weakley County, Carroll County. That's pretty cool. So, how was your week?
I'm not going to answer that one honestly. Week was great. It was awesome. There are some weeks that are easier than others.
Yes.
Being a pastor brings the highest rewards and sometimes the most negative weeks as well. Sometimes, and it hasn't been solely negative. Don't get me wrong.
It's been heavy though.
It's been a heavy week. That's a great way to put it.
It's been a very heavy week.
It's been a heavy week on just. Man, and to top it off, I'm struggling to finish my sermon. Last week, that wasn't the case, man.
Yeah.
I knew where I was well, it wasn't the case until about Thursday morning. I finished it, but I'm still struggling a little bit. I'll be honest with you. And so I've got some work to put in today to finish that. Normally, I'm a little bit further along by Friday mornings than I am right now. But it's okay, man. It's the name of the game.
And that's a lot of pressure too. It is.
Every week you have to have a new essay written or a 5-page discourse on something. And it's sometimes, man, I don't even know if I have that much to say, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I know where we're going with it. And I just want it to be done because I want to be able to enjoy tomorrow. A lot. So yeah. How about you, dude?
Everything's been good. Like you said, I know we've had some heavy stuff this week, but I also have tendonitis in my foot, and it really sucks.
Is this new?
It is new. I'm older, so
if you guys didn't know,
yeah, I'm a little older, so I've been I run a lot, and I don't know if I just pushed it too much the past couple weeks or what, but it's definitely like I didn't run yesterday because I was trying to rest it, and you really need to rest for about a week, and I gave it a day.
Perfect.
And I ran this morning, and it's on fire right now. Like every bit of my foot is on fire. It's just
Well,
really
just to bring you some consolation, when the day comes and you have to use a walker, you'll still be allowed to be on the worship team with your walker.
Funny.
So don't worry about that.
I'll have to buy a lighter guitar. I won't be able to carry the big green
You
one
have to
anymore.
sit down when you play. I used to see people sit down and play, like older people at our churches. They'd always sit down and play. So that'll be
That's
you
funny.
too. Yeah, it'll be great.
So, anyway, other than that, my week's been good. Like you said, it's been kind of a weird week. I'm excited today because, yes, we're going to hang out, but I'm going to eat today. Like, I'm going to eat pizza for lunch, something I don't
Let's go.
normally do. Yes. Block City's open today.
Cool.
And I'm going to go eat pizza.
Heck yeah.
And I'm really going to carb out today.
That's awesome.
And then I'm going to eat heavy tonight. So I'm
Let's go.
excited. I'm really excited about eating today. I really want to eat a lot of food, and I don't know why, but I'm pumped about it. And so I'm going to eat lunch with Mark Anderson today.
I'm jealous already.
Mark, our friend.
I would invite myself,
You
but
should.
I would, but I have to finish. Like I may work through lunch today.
So that's our thing today, man. Just going to eat some today, have a good 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
Celebrate America.
Hey, even though we couldn't find a single cabin, a single house, a single
Nothing.
jet ski to rent, nothing to rent, because, I mean, we're the people who wait till Wednesday, the Wednesday before the 4th to start looking for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I called and they were like, "You're wanting to rent a what? A cabin, bro? Like it's 4th of July
It's
weekend.
been booked for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, 3 years.
Right. True.
So, what is? I'm gonna let you do it today. Stop it.
Stop it. Well, today I would just like to formally request that people who live in the city limits, specifically around other people who may or may not have dogs, specifically who live around people who may or may not have young children,
Yes.
or just people like
My
me
goodness.
who enjoy sleeping, please stop shooting your fireworks late at night. Shoot them at 8 o'clock.
Man.
Shoot them at 9 o'clock. By about 9:30, though, just put those things to rest. I don't want to hear your fireworks at 11:45, at 12, at 1. My dog for sure doesn't want to hear it. She already pees on our carpet enough, and I don't need her to pee any more than she already is.
Man.
So it's just irritating. It's irritating. Stop shooting all your fireworks.
Yeah.
And I'm probably talking to myself as a 12-year-old as well. Like, I'm going back in the past because I've probably been that person a million times, but now I get why people are annoyed by that.
Yeah, I do too. At first, I think in the beginning I was okay with it. You would hear it. It
Right.
wasn't that bad. But like, I live right in town. I mean, McKenzie's not a metropolis by any stretch
You could
of
live
imagination,
right in town.
but I live by all the fireworks
It'd be-
stands too.
yeah, that's true.
So, it's like hours and hours and hours. And you try to get, I have a 6-year-old, you're trying to get him to go to sleep. And he's like, what is that? What is that? What is that? And it's like, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep.
Right. And he doesn't want to go to sleep.
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't know. Do that on the 4th.
They suck.
You know, stay up late and shoot them on the 4th. I don't even care, but goodness, every night beforehand. So just stop doing that. Stop it.
Yeah, please stop. Just stop every single day. Like, save some money. Lord, what are you spending on this stuff? Like, I know they're half off. They're always half off. Jesse Turner made a comment on Facebook today. He's like, I don't believe you because you only sell these for 2 weeks at a time. They're not 50% off. They're always 50%
They're
off.
always 50% off. That's awesome.
Way to go, Jesse.
Dude,
way to call it.
That is such a good point that you just made, because the only people I ever knew that spent tons of money on fireworks should have been spending that money on something so much more important. Should have started a savings account, or I mean, I don't know, gotten their car washed, or bought their kids a new pair of shoes, but instead we spend $350 on fireworks, and then you trash up the whole neighborhood. You keep everyone awake, and just be smart. Like, not only stop shooting fireworks super late, but also just like be smart and don't buy fireworks when most of us, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't have the money to go spend tons of money on fireworks. I don't know. It just seems kind of pointless. Like, I'll get a pack of bottle rockets or something on the 4th, but that's about it. So
that's good. So let's get some headlines in.
All right. Hit me with
I got some headlines for you. What are you thinking about? I want to give the first headline because COVID-19 is spiking. It's trending up. People are starting to get a little more afraid again. Cases are getting higher. Now our governor just released something a couple of days ago where it was like, hey, it's not just getting higher because we're testing more. We're just getting infected from different places because we're traveling more, we're going out more, we're doing all those things. What do you think about that? What are we going to do about that? What are your thoughts on, I don't know, should we start getting prepared for another shutdown? Should we are you going to start wearing a mask? In Nashville, you have to wear a mask.
Well,
in Knoxville, if you don't wear a mask, it's 30 days in jail.
Oh my goodness.
30 days in jail.
Well, if I go somewhere where I have to wear a mask, sure, I'll wear a mask. I have no problem doing that. I don't want anyone to feel inconvenienced or unsafe because of me. I'm totally okay with that. If I go somewhere where a mask is not required, I don't plan on wearing a mask. I don't have it, so if I do get it, I mean that would be I guess a sad day. But in my demographic, I'm probably going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm probably not going to wear a mask anytime soon. And then just to answer your question about how I feel about everything, I have mixed feelings, just like everybody. I mean, you don't just want to write it off and call it unimportant and not true, because even yesterday, I'm finding out that a close friend, but a friend that is distant, that doesn't live anywhere near here, may actually have it.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, okay, I know people who have it, which I already knew people who had it, but if we have to move back into phase 1 or phase 2 or something like that, I've already decided that I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to be happy. It's not going to throw me for a loop like it did last time. I think last time it really messed me up mentally a little bit. It was such a big change for me. Mm-hmm. But this time I've already made up my mind. I was literally praying about it yesterday. I was like, you know what? Even if I have to stay in my house, I'm not going to go and complain about it on social media, because for one thing, that doesn't help anything. But two, I'm just going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose joy, and I'm going to be fine. And so, yeah, either way, I'm going to be all right. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep reaching people and doing what we do and having some fun. We can do the podcast from home if we need to. We can do the sermon from home if we need to. I mean, it's all very doable.
Right. So, what do you think about moving forward? Do you think we have fans for college football?
I mean, me personally, I'm selfish, so like I would love that. I'm definitely not thinking about the bigger scheme of things. I'm definitely not thinking about public safety hazards. I'm just thinking about how awful it would be to watch a college football game without any people in the stands. And as a bystander and just a regular average fan, I'm thinking, ugh, I don't want to do that. Like, one of my favorite parts is when someone scores a touchdown or does something crazy and you hear the crowd. Like, that's going to be so strange.
Yeah, crowds play such a big role.
Yeah, to not have that demographic. I think it would really, really hurt some of the universities as well. Mm-hmm. And, if college athletes were ever going to get paid for what they were doing, they're definitely not going to get paid this year, because no one's making any money on anything this year without fans.
That's true.
So I hope not, but at the same time, I don't want to. I mean, I don't know. I don't want people to like get sick and die either. So once again, thank God I'm not the decision maker. I'm just happy that I'm not making these decisions, and that I get to sit by and I just get to be happy either way. I'm going to be happy either way, because I'm not going to lose sleep over not having fans in a college football stadium. I'm just going to watch from my TV. So I mean, not that big of a deal.
So hitting on that. Let's talk. Let's switch a little bit. Let's talk about big news this week. iOS 14 is coming out. We're all Apple fans because we're Christians, obviously. But Jesus loves Apple. I don't know, probably.
Well, does he though? Because Adam and Eve. I mean,
true. The apple.
Yeah,
that's true.
because it was an apple. Because that's what the Bible says.
It wasn't a Samsung that tempted them.
It
was an apple.
It was a fruit. Notice the little apple symbol has a bite taken out of it.
Oh,
It's a sign.
that is a sign.
Yeah. Christian conspiracy theory 101.
Yes,
There we go.
we should post that on Facebook.
We should.
We will do that today.
I'm sure someone would
Apple's
be
controlled by
encouraged by
Satan.
that.
Yes, we will do that. iOS 14, man, looks really cool. You can do a lot of widgets, a lot of other things. It's been
What's a widget?
Well, widgets are little things you can actually take and put on like something off an app. We can create a widget that'll put it on your phone, so it operates in a really small window.
Okay.
Whether it's like a calendar reminders, things like that. You can create little widgets. It's going to have a lot of other features, but it's going to look a lot more like Android somewhat because of not it won't act like it. It won't control like it.
Sure.
It's going to look more like it because Android's been doing that for a really, really long time. So I'm always excited about software updates, even though I'm not excited very long. I mean, they do a few things here and there that are cool, and then I'm not excited anymore.
Right.
But it's a big thing coming out this week. Apple's going to release that, and then in September they will obviously release all the new iPhones that are all going to look different this year. They're all going to have some changes, body changes. It's going to be more of a glass and metal like it used to be.
Cool.
Getting rid of some of the plastic. So that's coming out. That's big for all the cell phone world. And so I want to talk to you. You asked me about this a couple of weeks ago, and I want to talk to you about it today. Presidential election 2020.
Okay. I never responded to the cell phone. So
you didn't. You didn't.
I'll say I'm not excited because all this is going to do is I'm going to get the software update and then my phone's going to crash. I already know it. I already know that's what's going to happen.
Man.
They're telling me it's time for me to continue paying extra money to get a new phone. So in September, I'm probably going to have to get a new phone. That's what that means. So
You should.
Not all excited about it. I have 20,000 pictures and 10,000 videos on my phone.
Me too.
I have a problem and I need to clean it off. So presidential election.
Yep. Talk to me about it.
It's
a hot thing right now.
I think both of our candidates are the non-premier candidates.
How do we ever know who these other people are? I know they're never going to get close to winning, but like, how do we even find out about other people that run for president?
I guess you have to go to DuckDuckGo or something. That it seems to be the only like website that gives you. I mean, all the like different facts. It's kind of like a Google, but it's like a Google that doesn't work with the same algorithm that you actually get to see.
And what's
like
it called?
DuckDuckGo.
Okay, I've never heard of this.
I've seen some billboards for it. I've seen people talking about it recently.
Okay.
So I mean, I suppose that's a way, but gosh, the media monster is. They're not going to let us know about other candidates that they don't want us to know about.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even know what party I am.
People are going to have to start going door to door again.
I don't even know. Yes, man. Well, they do that locally. A lot of guys do that locally, which is you don't see it all the time, but a lot of guys do that locally. I see signs all the time, like where we live, of people running for something. I'm like, who are they?
Right.
Like, I don't even know that guy. Never heard of that guy. Where's he from?
So if we don't know the people in our own region
We
that are
don't
running for like mayor and stuff, we for sure are not going to know all the randos that want to be president that never end up in the main spots.
That is my favorite word.
Randos?
Ever. That might be my favorite word ever. That's great. I love it. I've never heard it. Thank you for introducing me.
You're welcome.
Man,
No
that's
problem.
good. That's so awesome. So we have a guest today.
Woo!
Our guest, Anthony Ballard.
Man, how are you, coach, pastor, father,
man.
Ballard?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, so good.
We're awesome. And I want to go ahead and point this out again. Your view, your background is awesome right now.
Well,
We have a gray wall behind us. And
you have trees.
you
and
have all
life.
these trees. It's so great. So
vacation, yes.
yeah, so you're on vacation, and I already asked you this, but for everybody else wondering, where are you at right now?
We're in Birmingham, Alabama. This is my wife's side of the family. We were having plans to go and do a lot of great things, but everything was kind of shut down now.
Right.
So we decided to still get away, man, just to do absolutely nothing.
Amazing.
That's
Amazing.
good.
So you took a vacation to have like a family reunion?
Well, we usually do that around the 4th of July. So we're still going to my in-laws' house just to eat and fellowship,
Sure.
but it won't be half as big or nearly as big as what it usually is.
Gotcha.
Real quick, because I referenced you as coach, pastor, father, everything, Ballard. Will you let our listeners know a little bit just about yourself,
Yeah.
who you are, what you do, where you're from? Just a quick 1 minute intro, just because they need to know who it is, the legend that we're talking to right now.
I don't know about the legend part, but I'm Anthony Ballard. I'm originally from Greenfield, Tennessee. Graduated from there in 1991. So I'm still a yellow jacket to the heart and everything.
Go.
And from high school, I went to play football at Lamette, tore up a couple of my knees, so I joined the military immediately. And after serving my country, I went ahead and retired from the military, and I'm back in this area now. We currently reside in Milan, Tennessee. I am the Dean of Discipline for Humboldt Middle School and Humboldt Senior High School. I'm the head football coach. I'm the pastor and founder of Word of Deliverance Ministries in Milan, Tennessee. I'm also a mentor and just got a lot of things going on, and I just thank God for giving me this opportunity to be used by Him.
That may be one of the coolest resumes I've ever heard in my life. College football player, went to the military. Now I serve as Dean of Discipline at the middle school and high school. I'm the football coach, and I'm a pastor in town.
Yes.
I mean, name one way that you could be more influential. Because I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's a lot of stuff, and that's good.
It
awesome.
Seriously is it's a super cool resume. So,
I'm humble. Thank you.
It's an honor to have you on here today. Now, Josh, I know you guys go back further than we do. I just met Coach Ballard couple of weeks ago, I guess. So you introduced me to Coach Ballard. So
yes.
Talk about.
It's really cool that we didn't really know each other in school because he's a little bit older than me. Not very much older than me. You like how I did that? It's really good. So
I'm talking to some wisdom right now.
You are. So we reconnected more along the lines of things that have been happening in our area. Things that have been in the media, things that we've been addressing, especially with racism. And I'll tell you though, I like this. The conversations we've had the chance to have in the past couple months have been enlightening for me.
Yeah.
They've been great to hear. Things that we needed to hear, things we needed to talk about. So, and then having the conversation, the one that we had here at our church with him and several other guys was amazing. We've gotten really good feedback. And I'll even say this has created more conversation for us and people that even listen to the podcast. We had an hour-long meeting the other day about our
people
podcast.
Are just reaching out. I mean,
yes, and it's been good. It's been really cool to see the conversation that we had, that we put out, has created more conversations for people. Because we get a lot of questions from white people just asking us, like, why do you think this? What does this mean? But it's also sparked them to have other conversations that have helped enlighten their mind a little bit and help them see.
It's been so cool. It's so cool. We had a gentleman from our church the other day actually say, when I listened to some of this stuff the first time, I was like mad and I was offended and I was ready to come in here and be mad at you guys.
Right.
And he said, but before I did, thankfully we had some other people that reached out to him and talked to him as well. But before he did, he ends up having a conversation with a black guy from our church, and we're just talking about all this with him. And he said after that conversation, he was like, I felt like God was kicking me in the butt, saying like, you're better than this. Like, this is an opportunity to grow. You don't have to agree with every single thing that's said out of everyone's mouth to be able to learn and listen and glean. And so it was super cool just seeing someone who was like, I was like, I don't necessarily have to agree with everything you guys say to know that there's value in what's being said. There's value in this conversation to know that maybe I didn't know everything and that there is room for growth. And it was like, man, that's the goal. If there's ever been a goal, it's that right there. So it was, I don't know. I was really just impressed.
It's been really
with that.
cool to see that. And I know it hasn't and I guess I'd even ask you this, Anthony. Like, what do you feel the temperature is right now as far as that conversation? Do you feel like, because I know there's other things. There's, of course, social media is ever changing. There's always different topics that take, that take the lead and all that stuff. But so, like, how do you feel right now as far as that conversation? How do you feel? What is your experience right now in that world? Do you are you hearing it more, or are you having any more conversations, or do you feel like it's died down a little bit? Like, how do you feel about that in particular?
It's not dying down. What I'm experiencing now is that people who have a heart for change have become more open to talk about the need for change.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Of course, you have people who are not going to change for whatever reason. They choose not to. But it seems like now the more knowledge and wisdom that we're having with these conversations is beginning to open the heart of people, black and white,
Right.
from all over this country on why this change is necessary. So has it died down? No, but it's becoming a little bit more intelligent, if I can say that way.
That's cool. That's a great way.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yes, these conversations have a meaning now. It's not just an angry black man saying you're a racist. There are people now beginning to have needed dialogue about these issues. So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Me too, man. Hey, were you a part of the Unity Walk that happened in Milan a couple of
Yes, sir, I was. I
weeks
was a
ago?
major part of it.
I was
Yes,
I was highly disappointed that we didn't get to be there.
I know.
We took a chance and we scheduled our first 5 p.m. Sunday worship experience. So normally we don't have a live 5 p.m. one. It's just online, and we tried to do one live, and it was fun, but really only like 7 people that aren't normally that are normally just at one of the morning ones anyways. I'm pretty sure we might have had 2 people, one of those including my mom, who wouldn't normally be at Sunday morning, were there, and so we ended up having a live worship experience and then had to miss the Unity Walk. And I was thoroughly disappointed that we didn't get to be a part of that. So
it looked like a lot of people showed up.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a great success.
Yeah,
it was a great success. But however, it did have some challenges.
Sure.
The local pastor there, he did ask me to speak my mind. He pretty much gave me the platform to be used the way that I thought God was going to use, or that God was mandated for me to be used. It didn't. What I had to say disturbed a lot of people. Matter of fact, I've lost a lot of friends, and some of my clergy friends and dear friends of mine that I've known for a long time. But again, the Unity Walk was necessary. But however, it was not going to be a kumbaya and fix everything without us at least discussing the issues that we as a town needed to discuss.
Good. I love it, man.
That's good. That's what it's for, is to challenge people. It's not to get in there and go.
That's what it was supposed to be.
It wasn't a feel-good walk.
Right.
We don't need any feel-good walks. Like, that's
exactly.
If you want a feel-good walk, go on a walk around your neighborhood with your wife and dog. That's a feel-good walk.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you're white, you can do that in your white neighborhood, and you don't have to have any challenges or have anybody challenge the way you think.
Selma wasn't a feel-good walk. That's not why it changed anything.
No.
So,
man, I want to say something. I watched that movie a few days ago, and it was like, I don't know, it blew. And I've seen so many documentaries on that, so many movies, but I've never just seen the movie Selma. And to look at registering to vote and how hard that was. That was when I made my wife watch that with me. I made her watch 2 scenes. She was doing some work, but the scene where the little girl's walking down the steps and they're talking about the dresses and stuff and all that, and then the whole wall blows and
Is that the church in Birmingham?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Birmingham right now.
Yeah,
I've been to those churches because I used to live in Alabama, so we would go to Birmingham all the time. So I've been there.
That when it blew up, and then you just kind of see that scene laid out and all those kids, and then the scene where Oprah's going to vote or register to vote, and he's like, "What are how many counties are in Alabama?" She's like 67. He's like, "Name all of them." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding!"
Right.
And it's like seeing those challenges, man. And then of course everything that happened with the first march in Selma, when they beat up everybody, but what was really cool in the movie. And people get mad about this because they don't want to see it on TV. But when people finally saw that on TV, when they were exposed to it, people started taking notice. And they went down in there, and like white people went down there because they were like, you know what, that's too far. Like, that's wrong. That should never happen. And then they took action. Like, people took action when they saw it.
Right.
I think that's the important part of media. Is to be able to see what is going on in our country. Now, I know they all have an agenda. I get all that. Like, there's so many other crazy things but being able to see something, being able to, with your eyes, see injustice, helps you take action.
Yeah.
You know, if you never see it, you know, when people come, you know, to your church and like, hey, like, want to sign up to adopt a child in another country. They give you the visual of what that looks like to live in another country and the challenges they face, and it moves you to, you know, so
do something, act.
Media is still important.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes the media used to report the conversation, and now sometimes they try to control the conversation. And I know that's not always healthy, but man, it's so important to be able to see the things that are going on around us, because how long have we been ignorant?
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, like when I was, 80s and 90s, like we didn't have a lot of fear because we didn't know what was going on.
Exactly.
That's why we didn't have.
Right. Same. I feel the same way all up until probably 2014 when, I guess, is that the Trayvon Martin case.
Trayvon Martin, yes.
And you're going to have to remind me of his name. The original I Can't Breathe. I can't remember. How am I going to blank right now? But all of that began.
Been so many.
Yeah, all of that's really. It was the first time in recent history, since the 90s probably, that the media actually covered stuff like that. And I remember it being such a shock, and me having to begin like having this own conversation with myself, and not knowing what I thought, not even knowing what to think, and having to really dig in and like.
Yeah.
Start listening to people and asking people. And I was a youth pastor at the time, and I'm asking, my black students in my youth group, hey, have you ever experienced this? Oh, and every one of them, they're like, yeah, this story, this teacher, this girlfriend's dad, this cop, this whatever, you name it. And it's like all of them, every student that was of color at all, Hispanic as well. I mean, you name it. I just kind of like started asking all of them, and I was like, "Tell me about your experiences."
Pastor, if I may, and it doesn't just, it doesn't pick and choose who it wants to attack, because even when I look at my own family, man, hey, go get all A's in school, make honor rolls, done that, get great ACT scores, done that. Be very respectful. Oh, you better believe we done that. But at the end of the day, if this world remains ignorant to change and resistant to change, and what has happened, you got guys who are my age, and especially you guys' age, who's like a generation or at least a half a generation behind me. You were not raised in these times of the 50s and 60s. So some of the stuff that our grandfathers are experiencing now or whatever, they lived through this stuff. And as a result, there's a generation, sad to say, that just going to have to die out as much as we love it and love our people. This is black people as well. I have relatives who are, a lot older, and some have died now, who were straight racist. And it wasn't because they were bad people, but it's because they have seen the injustice of their own father get lynched. I have a close relative who watched her father die in a tree. That's just for a little girl who's 4 or 5 years old to sit there and watch her dad get hung. If that don't make you hate white people or green people or whoever the people that done it. Right. So now, thankfully, a lot of these generation of these type of people are leaving this world because they're getting much older. And now the church, who's being led by guys you guys' age, are saying, you know what? This is not who we really are. So now you're seeing more of a movement trying to get these things rectified because, we're the generation to really bring these things to pass, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah. I think for people that sometimes white people don't understand that, because a lot of people say, well, that happened a long time ago. But if you were a part of that, the anger that you hold on to, just like we do when we think about the Muslim community, because they attacked our country, how mad did we get? I've seen Muslim people. I've seen a wife and her kids. I almost missed a flight one time because a Muslim mom and her 3 children got held up at an airport in security for like 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I get it. I get there's a fear there. But like that's what we did. There was an anger that we carry for that community of people because of what happened on 9/11. So that affects people like for generations. You know, the hatred and all those things. It just does. It affects people. So I'm glad we've been able to have this conversation in the past couple of months. I'm glad that this has opened some eyes. It hasn't opened everybody's eyes. I know there's still a lot of anger. I still see it. I'm not on Facebook as much right now. I'm kind of I'm really trending out of that a little.
I post and then I get off.
Yeah,
I don't do a lot of scrolling.
No, I don't either. Instagram's a little safer.
Yeah, well, because people don't post like actual words on Instagram.
Right.
It's just pictures of them and their dogs, or them at the beach, or them like their food.
Yes.
So
I've actually been off a little bit on Facebook just because, I don't know, it affects my mental health too. Yeah, after a while.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to. I feel like this whole season that's been hard anyway, just through COVID and I just being a leader in church, being a pastor. How has that affected you leading through all of this, through COVID, through
the racial unrest,
all of it? Just where has that put you in your life?
Man, it has really put me between a rock and a hard place, and here's why I say that. I am very highly respected, and as far as I know, by the whole community, blacks and whites. From city officials to school officials, very highly respected. And we have a lot of private conversations before this took place to try to help the overall well-being of our city of Maryland. And now, with all of this racial tension, I was part of the march in Maryland about a month ago, and I had the government officials and the police force and everybody who's only seen me in one light. But at the same time, I had a community, mainly African Americans, who were saying, that they were not even going to attend the actually march because they knew that it wasn't really going to deal with the issues. Right. And once I received the blessings from that local pastor who came up with the march, to do as God led me to do, and he gave me his blessings to do so, I knew that I had to represent my people that I shepherd. Right. Because to go to such an event and to act like there's not a problem, it would have been a waste of my time. Yeah. So I had to tell the honest truth about what we have faced, even in our small town of Maryland. And again, I wish you guys were there, because once I started to reveal the truth, and it wasn't that the people did not know the truth, it's just that people refused to see truth. Right. And even the people who were totally upset, angry, and literally, in my opinion, have grown a hate towards me because of what I said, none of them can say that any of it was a lie. Right. I didn't degrade anybody. I just had to speak a truth to make people uncomfortable. And in order for any change to take place, I don't care if it's our country, putting away from the European country. A revolution only takes place when folks become uncomfortable. Yes. And I felt like God was orchestrating my mind and my mouth to make people uncomfortable. I had no ill motive, and still don't, toward anybody. And many of those people, including leaders, have reached out to me and really began to listen more, because I do have great influence on our community, especially the Black community of the city of Maryland. And when I had people who are 60 and 70 and 80 year old who attended the meeting because they knew I was going to show up. And then to go around them and they say, Pastor, thank you for representing me. That's the biggest feeling that you can ever, have, because these people have been in our town all their lives, and they've seen the racial injustice.
Right.
Not that the racial injustice was always meant to happen, but until you are in my perspective, there's a lot of things you'll never understand because you never gone through it. So I have to balance. What I'm trying to do now is allow time to heal itself, because anybody who knows anything about Anthony Ballard or the Ballard family know that we in no kind of way would try to bring out in our city.
Right.
But at the same time, if you invite me, like you guys have had me here twice now for different events, and I'm at liberty to be led by God to say what I believe needs to be said.
For sure.
So now I hope everybody understands that whenever you are inviting somebody for a conversation, be willing to have a conversation and not a kumbaya just to say that you had a march.
Right.
No, I love it. We were our podcast last week. We were talking to a guy, one of our good friends. His name is Sweb. He's a leader. He's been a heavy influencer at our church before, kind of from a distance. And he encouraged us. He said, continue offending preferences. Mm-hmm. He's like, never shoot to offend people. Like, don't be in it just to offend people, but offend preferences. And it's like, yes. Now, the truth is, when you start offending preferences, people are going to get offended. It's true. They're going to get offended. But if we can offend those preferences, you're exactly right. Their change literally never happens unless we're uncomfortable.
Yep.
There is no such thing as change without pain.
Exactly.
There isn't. It does in any area of life. Whether even if you're growing taller, there's growing pains. If you're trying to get stronger, your muscles hurt because there's pain.
Yes.
If you're trying to get smarter, you experience some pain because you're not hanging out with your friends as much because you're reading or whatever. There's always pain. There's always a moment of even more moments of uncomfortability if you do want to change.
Yeah, that's very true.
What would you say to somebody, Coach Ballard, who genuinely they want to grow and change, but they're struggling with this feeling of uncomfortable? We're not used to that. We're Americans. We don't want to feel uncomfortable. We only want to watch what we want to watch. We want to do what we want to do. What's a word of encouragement for somebody who feels really uncomfortable about this whole situation because, say, they don't really fully know what they believe? I don't know. What would a word of encouragement you have for that person be?
Well, a word of encouragement, and when I think about people like that, I think about y'all too, who are my brothers in the Lord.
Yes.
Someone who's just caught right there, who has a mandate given to you by God that you must also follow, but at the same time have people on both sides of the aisle that you have to also make sure that you're loving on. So what I would say is just we all need to continue to be led not by our emotions, but only by God. We must also understand that this assignment is not for everybody to be the spokesperson for.
Right.
I believe that in this season, God has specifically set certain people to do a certain move, if everybody think that they're going to be the one talking, I believe you're going to have much more of a mess than anything.
Yes.
So to those who are uncomfortable, if you're uncomfortable, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Now, if you're comfortable, something is really, really, really wrong with your spirit, man. The Bible talks about God is a spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. I think the church has mastered the spirit part, but the truth portion is what we're leaving out. Some of us are just ignorant, and I'm not calling anybody foolish or stupid, ignorant means not having the knowledge of. Yeah. And we think that our traditional way of doing things, the way that things have been done forever, well, why does it not bother anybody? Well, it's not bothering anybody because you're you and I'm me. Just real quickly, just when I think about the Washington Redskins, who now you see all on ESPN. I mean,
Yeah.
me and my son have watched it all night and we're watching it all this morning. It's still on there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, well, some people are going to be like, well, why change the mascot? Well, first of all, Washington, first president, get it. I totally get it.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Whenever they came over before our country was established, who did they take the land from? From the Indians,
Right.
the Redskins. So unless you are an Indian, you really need to shut your mouth about this because it doesn't have the same effect
Right.
that it has on you.
Right.
I mean, if I was an Indian, I would see it as of right now. No, it doesn't bother Pastor Ballard at all. But guess what? I'm not a Redskin.
Uh-huh.
So it would have a different perspective. And what we have in this country is the majority who has been in these government positions, they think nothing is wrong. Well, guess why you think nothing is wrong? Because you're the only ones that's been in these positions.
Right. Right.
Right.
So now, as the demographics of our politicians change, as the demographics of our Congress change, or whatever, these are just part of the wounds, part of the scars that we have to expose in order for us all to be healed.
That's good. That's good, and that's very true. I was actually going to use the Redskins thing as a headline.
It shows you how behind I am. I didn't even know that was a thing right now because I haven't watched TV in a week.
It's
big right now. It's always had a presence. There's always been I remember.
It'll
get popular for a second, and then it'll die down, and then that's always every few years they'll hit on the Redskins.
Ole Miss.
So
the Mississippi flag. Ooh, the McKenzie
that was-
Rebel Man. Whoa, I don't know if anyone's ready for that conversation right now.
they're not.
I don't want to
They're
offend
not.
those
No, they're not ready.
preferences.
No,
but-
there's no way. That's another big thing, though. I think Mississippi actually voted to take
Yes,
that
sir.
off the flag.
to change their flag. They
Yeah,
did.
that was
How
big.
great. I mean, that's
big.
insanely cool.
It is. It is big, and I think that is good because I also, man, we've talked about this before, but everybody's so upset about these like statues and like, do you ever go look at those?
No, sir. I do
No.
not have, if I may, I have no problem as an educated black man. I didn't say that I want the statues to come down or to stay up.
Sure.
It doesn't bother me specifically. Here's what bothers me. When my neighbor or your neighbor cannot speak to me because I'm black and can't treat me a certain way because of the color of my skin. Man, listen, I don't care if I showed up on a podcast with a rebel flag tattooed on my forehead. If the love of God is imminent in me, that doesn't really, really matter. In my opinion, we're spending too much time dealing with those side things and not dealing with the heart of man
The
that
symptoms.
needs to change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're dealing with symptoms and not the sickness itself.
Because it gets
Even as a
gets too
history
crazy.
teacher. Yes, even me
right.
as a history teacher before I got into administration, man, I understand the historical aspects of it, but at the same time, can you put a Harriet Tubman statue by that? Can you
Please.
put Dr. King statue by this particular flag, whatever? So now we have a racial imbalance.
Right.
So now, unless you're going to fix it all, we have to take particular actions to kind of bring a soothe, so that everybody can pretty much well be pleased, because it is a public park. That means you want the whole public to feel comfortable there.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, dude, that's one of the great things that I appreciate about Birmingham. Actually, if you walk down, have you ever been to Birmingham?
Yes.
If you go downtown Birmingham, they've got statues that they're not memorializing the great things that happened, the horrible things that happened during the Civil Rights Movement. They're reminding people, hey, these terrible things happen. Like, don't ever forget that police unleashed dogs on people that were protesting and standing there. And I'm assuming this is probably going to be the stupidest question I've ever asked anyone, but have you been to the Civil Rights Museum?
Yes, sir. I've been to the one in Memphis.
Okay.
Been to one in Memphis several times. However, we had plans on going to the one in Birmingham today, but unfortunately they are closed because of COVID-19. I have my youngest son here with us and everything, and he's like, but Daddy, can we just ride down there? Because even to see just the eagerness on the inside of him, He wants to go by that particular church that was bombed.
Yep.
He want to go by the historical portion of downtown. Now, a lot of those statues have been removed that were downtown.
Really?
Yes, sir. A lot of them. I'm talking about within the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Most of those statues have come down. But just to know that finally that there's a change or a conversation that's promoting change beginning to take place. And I believe that all started, it's been going on forever. And Pastor Josh, you mentioned how we've been hearing about this Redskins things every 2 or 3 years. Well, now you have all minorities who have begun to become conscious of all of the race tensions that have been enforced on our country by white men who were in a position then to represent our country.
Right.
Doesn't make them evil. I tell people all the time, and they may look at me strange, slavery was an accepted portion of life for landowners who were senators or whatever back then. It's kind of like owning a tractor now, except for it's a human being.
Sure.
But I'm not going to get mad at every farmer who owns a tractor now. Like I won't get mad at every particular white guy who birthed our country way back then.
Sure.
Slavery was a part of life, and that's just how it was back then. And I believe, again, now, if you just treat each other with the love of God, I promise you, nobody will notice that statue downtown.
Right. Right.
That is true. I think and some of it we get a little sidetracked. There's so much that gets brought up. We start attacking and going after every single thing, and it's just so much. I think that's how they die out too. I think sometimes
it becomes overwhelming.
A movement gets too focused on everything. It loses its focus on the main thing. And then then you have like people just get so burnt out. They're just so distracted, and it just dies down. And hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully we can keep having conversations. I do know that the longer we have this conversation, the more that is going to come out. I mean, I even had a guy who I'm friends with on Facebook. Used to not really. I mean, we used to be. I guess we're just acquaintances now. Sure. But he actually posted something the other day. He said, "If you support Black Lives Matter at all, like unfriend me right now." And
I've seen several of those dumb things.
right now, unfriend me right now. We have nothing, and he's a Christian. He goes, he's like, unfriend me now. We have nothing more to discuss.
Nothing.
It's just like, I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Mindset. That is not it's not a love your neighbor or love your enemy. It's just like, I'm going to hate you.
I just love me.
I just love my preferences.
Yeah.
That's all that is. So tell me about being a pastor right now with COVID. How's your church dealing with that?
We're doing that in the parking lot, and we are having quite a few visitors, cars that we've never seen, good. Actually drive up. So we're actually doing, I'm not going to say better because I do miss the fellowship. Yeah. But we have a lot of people that are beginning because, again, the very first couple of weeks, we started the first Sunday in June with our outdoor services. And, man, I got my members, instead of saying, praise the Lord, hallelujah, whatever, they're honking their horns now, man. And now, people are beginning to look out the windows and drive up and things of that nature there. So now I do miss the people, and I'm ready to get people back into our congregation because there's nothing like the fellowship or forsake not the assemblies of themselves together in the manner of some.
Right.
But at the same time, I have to always first realize where I'm at and look at the demographics on how this COVID-19 is affecting, especially the minority type of communities. So my point of view is going to be totally different from what somebody else's point of view who does not have the type of congregation that I have. So what we're doing in my church is, and I talk to my board, quite often about it, and my deacons and things of that nature there. We're going to wait to see what these numbers are looking like. Now, one of the things that we're going to do, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday, we're going to tell people, okay, you can get out of your cars. If you want us to bring you out a folding chair or whatever, sit up underneath the shade tree or whatever, you can do that. And we're going to take some hot dogs and hamburgers and put them on a grill, man.
Let's go.
Do it.
Just come up. Yeah, just have a little fellowship because we are missing the actually fellowship. We're excited about getting ready to get back. Now, the process of being out of church for the last 3.5 or 4 months, being out of the building, Man, we have renovated our stage. My pulpit looks totally different. My office now is totally different. My wife's little office area is totally different. The bathroom has been redone. So we've done a lot of work in
That's
there.
awesome.
So, we just try
That's
to use
good.
this time to our advantage.
Yes.
And that's good. That's what people should do. I mean, I know we have
Right.
several little renovation projects that we're moving through right now, and just trying to do some things. Of course, we're meeting in person. It's not full. It's not like it was. It's definitely, there are some separation there, but
We still have a much larger online audience than we had
Yes.
3 or
Yes.
4 months ago. So
Yep. So it's still trending that way. We haven't. It's half and half, I guess.
Yeah.
Considering what it was, and I know, like I hear, like the governor, he was kind of getting on to everybody the other day, talking about how, like, we need to do social distancing. We need to wear masks. Of course, sometimes they tell you to wear a mask. Sometimes they tell you not to wear a mask. I never know what to do. Like, it's so confusing to me. But church is different right now. It's just different. It is different. I saw a post the other day that was really good, and the guy was talking about how we used to really be hard on Peter for denying Jesus. But then 2020 happened. And, like, now we're like, Jesus can't work through a screen. Jesus can't work sitting in your car. Jesus can't do that. Jesus can't move with the way we're doing church. He only moves in one way, me sitting in my seat. You know what I mean? It's it's like our own denial of Christ. It's our own denial of the power of God and what God can do. But I really believe 2020 is going to be a year that stretches us and grows us closer to God.
Hey, and if at the very least the inside of many church buildings is going to look a lot nicer, because I've seen a lot of churches that have been doing renovations and stuff right now, and it's like, dude, if you don't, churches don't normally. If you do a renovation, you have to do it in like a week, and that's really hard.
It is,
and
hard.
So it's been kind of cool, and I'm sure some pastors have really appreciated. I
tell several of my friends that 2020 is supposed to represent perfect vision. And I honestly believe, spiritually speaking, it is. I believe that it may not be the vision that we as humans, as mortal flesh, want to see, but I believe that God is perfecting some things. And thankfully, it's his vision of his creation and not our vision of ourselves.
Yes.
So for that reason, man, 2020 is great. It's bringing about some changes that need to come about. And again, for those who don't want that change, you mentioned how somebody said, if you're Black Lives Matter, unfriend me now. I heard from a very wise man who said it's kind of like a fire department, a fire engine. If there's a house that's on fire, they go to that particular house. They don't stop by every house in the neighborhood and check to see how's your fire. Hey, do you have a fire? Hey, do you have any smoke going on? No. So Black Lives Matter is not a racial thing at all. Now, of course, there are idiots in everything, and I do mean in everything.
Yeah,
but however, it is the Black Lives Matter movement that is casing us to have such a conversation that we're having now. I don't believe that with Black Lives without the Black Lives Matter movement, the Washington Redskins would not be making the headlines right now.
Right.
So I believe the country has identified there's an emergency right here because this is what's going on. And in the midst of it, it's going to bring forth a lot of things that need to be faced in our country.
Yeah, that's good. And a lot of it's just we fight change so hard. We are so used to how this country looks. We are so used to how this country operates. We are so used to our sports teams looking and sounding and being named a certain way, whatever. We're just used to that. And it's like, we don't want to change it. I don't know why. The Washington Redskins suck anyway. Like, you could change you could change their name and call them something different. Maybe that'll help them.
How many people are actually going to be upset? How many fans do they have? That's the thing.
I mean, they may have a good fan base, but it ain't like their team's going to get any worse.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe they'll get better. Maybe that's what God's waiting on.
Maybe they'll grow a fan base.
Maybe that's what God's waiting on for them to change their team name and he'll favor them with the championship.
Well, then, I don't know, Russell Wilson or Tim Tebow will end up over there. The Christians in the National Football League, and then they'll take them to victory because that's what Christians think is going to happen.
Because God cares so much about football.
Right.
Oh, it's so funny. Well, thank you so much, Anthony, just for this conversation. Thank you for joining us today. It's been it's an honor for us to always talk to you. I know that even though we weren't the same age growing up in Greenfield, I'm always proud to know someone from my hometown growing up is out doing what you're doing. That's really cool to see. To represent our community, and I know that even though Greenfield probably doesn't even know it yet, how much you do. I'm hoping that's something that'll change, man, because it's an honor to always get to talk to you and hang out with you. And
it is.
You've changed my life a lot, man. Just in enlightening me on so many things that I did not know, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you, man.
Yes.
Thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you so much. Let's keep offending preferences.
Yep, let's do it.
I'm excited.
Keep challenging people.
If you ever need help, you know where to reach out. You know where to find us. Send us a text.
Send us a text. We'll be there. We'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
All right.
And we are out.
We love you guys. Be sure, subscribe, like, review, comment, all that different stuff. Be sure to email us or reach out. Let us know if there's any topic you want us to hit. We want to be able to hit it. What are we thinking with Alex and Josh? We're out of here.
We're out. Thank you, Pastor.